Namaste, Galactic family. Welcome back to my channel, IndigoAngel. My name is Amanda Jane DeMarco, but I go by the nickname Indy here on YouTube. Come on into this dimension, guys. I hope that you use the portal on the way in the room. Be sure to subscribe, hit that notifications bell so you can continue to receive my messages. And of course, thank you for your continued love and support of my channel. Be sure to like, comment, and share this video, and also keep that watch time up on this video, as that's truly how YouTube continues to, decide which videos get to stay on the searches, the algorithms, and actually get pushed out to the notifications. So keep the watch time up. I do have a very special, in-depth World War II cosmic grid update for you guys today. I do have some announcements and notifications that I want to tell you guys about. One thing is that I have recently switched over to StreamYard for filming, recording, going live, and simulcasting. So it's somewhat of an upgrade to my channel. I'm very excited to give it a try with you guys today. I'm not actually going live with it today. I'll just be premiering this video. I think some of you kind of get confused about the lives and the premieres. The premieres are recorded videos, but they will kind of allow some of the same things like the live chats to actually roll and play on the premiered videos, and they actually pump it out to those who have signed up for the notifications if you premiere the video. So I like to premiere my recorded videos. But I am going to consider attempting to go live more in the future. And so I just wanted to make sure I had the correct platform that can host adequately everything that I'm trying to do, because as you guys know, I'm constantly doing screen sharing, and then it also gives you the ability to multi-guest and multi-platform navigability, so you can actually, simulcast and things like that. Geez, I feel like I'm totally doing a StreamYard. I'm promoting StreamYard right now. I'm a spokesperson for StreamYard, but I definitely highly recommend it if you're a YouTuber, just because it's really awesome. You can see that I have this very custom-made live banner that scrolls across the bottom. I have my logo up in the corner. You get to use a background, and it has all these extra added features that just make your videos look so sharp and upgraded. So I'm very excited about this, and I hope you guys like it. Drop it in the comments and let me know what you think about this. And if everyone likes it, of course, I'm going to keep using it. You do have to pay for the service. I believe it's $20 a month to continue to utilize StreamYard. But I think it's well worth it if you are a YouTuber and you are constantly making videos. You definitely want to have good quality of video. And my second addition to the channel is I now have a Discord, you guys. So please come and join me on this platform. I think that you guys will really like it. I have absolutely had so much fun connecting with everyone here on Discord. My phone is actually constantly dinging and blowing up with the live chat rooms, and it's just a lot of fun. I think the Discord's going to come in handy later down the road for maybe live Q&As, organizing events, and just being able to connect with you guys instantaneously, like how you do on the live chats when a video premieres or goes live, how you can just enter a live chat room. Well, this is my own private server for you guys to actually come in and just always be able to engage in my community of live chats. And so it's a lot of fun. Everyone's already throwing up a lot of really Intellist information in there already. I do have a Cosmic Playground Intellist group, a Grid Hunter group. I have live chats for most of the Starseed Origin Soul lineage groups. I have it for Hydra Starseed, which is what I am. As you know, if you've been following me for a while, I am a Hydra Starseed. I am from the Ashleisha and the Hydrobius systems. I am a Seraphim, Primordial, Mother Serpent, Reptilian race. We're the progenitor race to the Pleiadians and also to the Anunnaki. This goes back to Tiamat. This goes back to the Nakal people, the motherlands of Mu. The Hydrans actually came to this earth around the time of the Dracos, and ever since then have been demonized by the Dracos. Actually, ultimately, they have pawned, incepted a lot of the Hydra stories to basically corrupt it and allow Hydra to take the blame for what the Dark Brotherhoods and the Dark Squiddies have actually done here on this planet. And so being a Hydra Starseed, you have to know where I'm coming from in a lot of my videos, that I am very much in the second dimensional sphere and realms, belly to belly with the earth. I see darkness, I see shadow, and I aim to deconstruct demonization and just bring all of the falsehoods and all of the fallen timelines and the fallen narratives up to the surface to be transmuted. It's a part of my mission. It's a part of my mythology to defend and fight for the earth body and for the divine feminine here on this earth. And so if you are a Hydra soul lineage, Hydra divine masculines will probably see it a lot different. I know a lot of other Hydran star seeds that are masculine that see it in terms of polymorphism and things like this. And so it can have a different meaning for everybody, similarly to how the other star systems do and would. So if you join my Discord, I have Arcturian starseed, Lyran starseed, Orion starseed, Sirian starseed, Pleiadian starseed, Andromedan starseed, Draco starseed, Anunnaki starseeds, and they're just text channels. You can come on in. There's people already in there that are vibing on that level, like-minded starseeds that you can connect with. And also I have private chat rooms for all of my Patreons. So if you are on my Patreon, patreon.com/IndigoAngel, this is now a benefit to your membership. So please get a Discord. It should automatically pull you into our private rooms. If it doesn't, just message me and I will pull you in myself. I have noticed that on some of them, it's not doing that. Some people have already reached out to me and so they couldn't get into the private chats. It's really good because my whole Patreon group is amazing. We are doing monthly group grid sessions. We're healing the grids. We're working through a lot of these matrices and inversions and blocked stargates, blocked crystal lines, the blocked organic grid. We aim to clear these things. And so we work together as a team to do that through remote view and through our psychic abilities. And so it's good for us all to be able to come together and connect on Discord. I do actually have a couple of you, I think Marcus and Tonai, I shout out to you guys. I think they're going to actually be heading out to Applegate soon to maybe get some live footage out at this area, as it's a place that we've been kind of tuning in for remote view. And it's probably a remote view that I'm going to be doing coming up here on my channel very soon. So it'd be awesome to get some live footage as we are seeing that it is actually a spaceship, and there's a lot going on with that I'll get into some of that today in this update. But if you don't know what Discord is, it was a gaming platform that provides private servers for live chat rooms. I think that's kind of the hiccup in it, and where some of my friends have been like, I don't want to join a gaming platform. But to be honest, you guys, this is expanding out of the gaming sphere, and it's really expanding more into the YouTube realms and also into the mainstream. A lot more people are using it for live chats. So yeah, just come on in, communicate with us, and it'll be so much fun. I love you all. And yeah, so it's hot in my house. And I went and got some tamales today. And I got some horchata. Oh my gosh. If you guys have not tried horchata, it is so good. It is like rice milk with like cinnamon. I don't really know how specifically they make it, but it is just one of the yummiest drinks ever. And it doesn't hurt my tummy. A lot of things hurt my tummy, but horchata doesn't. So whenever I go, I get like a huge thing of it. But yes, so today I have quite a few messages for you guys. This will be a longer video per usual. I am going to be going in on the global galactic human intel. Disclaimer on this video, the World War II grids, I mean, that just says it all, right? You know where I'm going with it. So disclaimer, if you're really sensitive to these types of topics, then this isn't going to be your video today. I personally can talk about these things because, before I come and talk about it with you guys, I actually go through this entire activation and grieving process and feeling through everything before I come and talk to you about it. So it's something that I've already, really self-actualized in a lot of ways before I speak about it. But it can definitely, this would definitely be a trigger video, as I think most of my videos often are, is because the hydra perception that I come from with things, right? It's very direct. It is piercing directly into the shadow collective, the shadow realms, the fallen realms of humanity, talking about these things. And so, yeah, I just want to give you guys a heads up if you're sensitive and you don't think that the most important thing is that you are just in alignment to your own gnosis. Your own gnosis comes first with everything. And I highly recommend that you do your own studies. You get this information yourself, and then you can see if your perspective or your perception of things aligns with mine. And if it does, then thank you for staying and being here and watching my videos. If it doesn't, then it's okay to have different perceptions about things too. So we have to keep that in mind too, that it's actually good to hear opposing perceptions on things, because it does actually help us to see different perspectives and where other people are coming from on things, right? So a lot's transmitted, a lot has transpired over the holidays. The celebrated vortex of slavery, capitalism, spend, acquire unnecessary things, consume, waste, repeat. Oh, I made it through it, right? Kind of reminds me of the medical technocrats frequency cycles right now, with fear, variant, booster, consumption of life, repeat. Like we have these very similar patterns that are just like lining up. But having all of that said, I did still participate this year. I brought in the tree. I do have children, so my children are very emotionally invested in the tradition of it from their generational programming and from society. And so it's very hard for me to actually get out of it without a lot of disappointment. And I'm just at a point. I just don't want to disappoint them. I do my best, but I am constantly teaching and explaining, why something doesn't align with me, or, what the deeper meanings of everything actually are. I'm always kind of teaching them that as we go through the motions of still doing it anyways, right? I kind of like to look at the tree coming in the house. Like I'm bringing in the universal tree of life, which tree worship was actually demonized, I believe, during the time of, I think it was after the Canaanites. Maybe going into Mesopotamia and things like this, that tree worship was actually demonized as well. But I try to look at the tree as like the Asherah pole. I'm very connected to Asherah. You would know that if you've been watching my channel for a while. I'll post some videos up in the description of my Asherah invocation that I did. And so I kind of, in my mind, I'm merging all of that energy together and just looking at the tree as my Asherah pole. And so it's cosmic goddess worship for me. And then I can justify it basically. But you guys know how it goes. If you got kids and you're still trying to, honor this higher consciousness stuff, it's definitely a blending of worlds that you still have to maintain and live through, because we are existing in the now. We are existing in the present, in the 3D, and what's going on in society as we speak. So yeah, guys. So now what we're going to dive in today is going to be the World War II grid update. So yes, guys, what I have been seeing is there have been a multitude of World War II overlays, interlays, interference, and symbolism that is running through the global grids at this time. You can really see this through the Nuremberg encoding that has come up. The Nuremberg has been kind of blasted through the sound waves, the light waves, the etheric and etherium waves, and essentially this has come up. So if you don't know what the Nuremberg encoding is, this has come up because of the World War II activating grids. It's basically an informed consent that was implemented into the medical system when the scientific research conducted in Nazi Germany was discovered. And it's basically like rules to live by for experimenting on human beings. So I'm going to go ahead and screen share with you guys. Let's see if my screen share actually works on this platform. Trying it out, seeing how it goes. Yay! Awesome. I love it. So Nuremberg Code, what do we got here? Okay, so Yes, this is the rule for them to go by. They have to have voluntary consent of human subject is absolutely essential. This means that the person involved should have legal capacity to give consent and should be so situated as to be able to exercise free power of choice without the intervention of any element of force, fraud, deceit, duress, overreaching, or other ulterior form of constraint or coercion. Okay. And you want to know what? All of the mutated variants are basically saying that they're not doing this. They are not coercing the people to do this. Well, you want to know what is so funny about that, you guys? So my friend just sent me the other day this from the WH.gov website, one of their recent letters that they put out to the people. And the bottom paragraph says, for the you are looking at a winter of severe illness and death for yourselves, your families, and hospitals you may soon overwhelm. So I don't know. To me, that just sounds like they are coercing all over the place, like word vomit. But yeah, so I mean, this is basically, a lot of people are saying, oh, this doesn't apply to what's going on. We're in a pandemic, blah 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 blah. But I personally feel that this Nuremberg Code does apply, and that there's a reason why it's coming up. This wouldn't be coming up if they were not actually crossing the line, right? So this is a part of that World War II overlay, interlay that's running. And you can also see this through the Jim Jones juice passports, right? Both electronic and implant, in the comparison to the yellow badges of shame. The yellow badges of shame, you guys. Have you seen these? Okay. Basically, these were the badges that were given to the Jews before they pushed them into the ghettos and ultimately into the concentration camps and death camps. Now I'm seeing this as an inversion. It's like a backward parallel replaying with the same programming from World War II. So you can really catch the inversion in it. So if you can't catch the inversion in it, you most likely won't be able to catch the manifestation of them etherically, because I'm seeing that these are actually still running etherically in the planetary Akash. For a lot of people, just even discussing this alone seems to be anti-Semitic. And so if it does seem anti-Semitic to you, it's probably because you're just not able to see the global picture of the energy signatures within this, right? And what this is actually meaning and playing out within these waves of realities that reactivate within the Earth's grids. I want you guys to know today that what I'm bringing forth today is in no way anti-Semitic or unsympathetic to what happened to the Jews during the Holocaust. I think it is absolutely a horrific tragedy of human ignorance on several sides of the coin. And but I do feel also that this anti-Semitic movement is actually what stops these things from being seen and healed globally, because it's actually a resistance force from that keeps the recycling patterns reemerging, because the resistant forces are blocking people from being able to speak their truth about it. And it's also keeps the reactivation of that in human behavior by trying to hush people that even speak about it. So I think it also does a disservice to other Jewish people that are maybe trying to fully understand their heritage or their grail line or their history, because it's almost a campaign to stop any speech about it whatsoever. And I know you guys know what I'm saying. I'm just really saying what people are thinking underneath it all. But really, these yellow badges are running in the Akashic field, just like the crucifixion wounds, right? The crucifixion implants, right? Okay, it's a stigmatic wound. So are these yellow badges. These are stigmatic wounds, etheric badges similar to the stigmata wounds of Christ, but they're even more so than that. Okay, this is beyond just one person being crucified or persecuted. This is millions of people being persecuted. So these are very strong in the etheric field, particularly right now as this time, as we have this resurgence in this wave of this World War II energy into the grids. You can see them and feel them the most when a pureblood walks into a hospital in California and gets rejected for emergency care because they're seen as undesirable in society. Okay, the yellow badges is in the not having the passport. Okay, you can see this when a business refuses service to a pureblood because the man behind the curtain himself say that they themselves cannot actually enforce it. If you look at what the willy wankas are actually saying, they're saying that they can't actually enforce it. So what they will do is use their snake-like trickery to put the choice on the business owners to force the yellow badge ideology, the passport ideology. And when enough businesses have turned against the undesirables, okay, then Willy Wonka law can be enforced. They will be like, look, guys, the businesses wanted it. All the businesses wanted it, so now it's a law. So we get to sit back and we get to watch the freedoms and the holograms get smaller and smaller. So if we want change, right? If we want all of this change to happen, we want this stuff, we want this crap to stop, we actually have to stop protesting Willy Wonka and actually start protesting the businesses at this time of the Decepticons coming down from the big AI brotherhood. They make the Omicron Forces do their dirty work, and that's what these business owners are. So this is how they will discriminate and segregate you slowly into ghettos. They label you as undesirable, dehumanize you, strip possession, segregate, starve, oppress more and more, and then ultimately exterminate. That is the process of what happened in World War II. There are processes to this dissension, okay? Now, I think that this World War II timeline capsule is going to run through California, Colorado, Hawaii, Illinois, Louisiana, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey, New York, and Virginia, and all major hubs where the passports will start to be fully being implemented. So if you are a pureblood, you are going to want to get out of these states, okay? Because they will be next in line for concentration camps, okay? I know that's a tough word right there, concentration camp, right? We don't like to say that word. It feels like a no-no word, but I don't think that those are something that are too far out in the future. I mean, look at what's already being done to the Indigenous already in Australia, okay? They already have a concentration camp down in Australia. They are already doing this to the Indigenous in the Darwin Howard Springs camp in AU, detaining and forced euthanasia locations. A woman has already died from neglect. The elders in AU are speaking about it. So I know some of you have tuned into this. And really, if you're paying attention, they want to start implementing this similar program next in New York City. New York City will be the next place to start these facilities. So stay aware, family. The dominoes have already began to fall. 2 years ago, when all this began, the people who were talking about the Jim Jones passports, they were the crazy ones, right? We're looking at this situation 2 years into the future going, they're never going to take it to passports. It's never going to get to that, right? Now look around you. Everything you thought wouldn't happen, happened. So I say that we don't want to be so naive. We can still have hope for humanity, but we do not have to tolerate our way to unity consciousness. And that is what they are trying to oppress us to do. So it's not about not wanting to look at the shadow because you're going to get told you're fear mongering, right? I can't have fear that bringing forth the shadow is going to make people think I'm fear mongering. This is not about fear porn. This is about helping people you care about stay awake, stay woke, stay conscious. We cannot put our soul family back to bed. We have to stay vigilant. And I have a feeling that this is just the beginning of the tipping points. Now, I want you guys to know that right now, those that are truly awake and aware in this matrix, those that have been fully unplugged and are the hope and the light of this world, those that are actually dedicated to doing the work, those who truly know who they are. And right now, these beings can fully see now where all darkness hides. Okay? Where all darkness hides. Because darkness can no longer hide. That's the truth. Darkness can no longer hide. Have you noticed that everything is enhanced and visible in the 3D right now? How you can literally see Satan, Luciferian, those that are part of the Luciferian rebellion and draconic agendas and everything. You literally, like, you can just look around you and you can see the satanic programs attached to everyone in which ways and where they're picking up on it from and where it's coming from. Everything is so magnified right now. You can see it in the celebrities and the corporations and the politicians and the media and the television and their mass rituals and the Decepticons. It can't hide from our visibility anymore at this time. We literally see everything. Okay. And this in itself is the observation that's paving the way for change. These things are under a microscope by the starseed and indigo hearts and soul groups of the world, and it forges us to work harder in the direction of resurgence. Okay. And keeping others awake, because y'all already woke. That's the thing. Everyone's already woke. It's just, don't let these false light workers, okay, put you back to bed, okay? We want to stay up on the intel. So when I say World War II activations are running through the global grids, I mean there are particular activated traumas, triggers, and unhealed and unacknowledged reality frames that are appearing in one's lenses through symbolism, through parallel running reality encoding, that are coming through shared collective planetary and celestial frequencies that sync with through memory, location, landmass, ley lines, stargates, vortexes, human genetics, and inheritance in one's field of awareness that hold the encoding to simultaneous and parallel existing timelines, whether that is past, present, or future to be experienced. We are re-experiencing World War II global energetic encoding. And this is a real thing, you guys. This is really happening right now. I'm going to screen share my thing with you again. We are waking up to remember World War II, and the more undealt and emotional trauma and karma from a particular activating timeline, the more we will experience its ripples and waves into the present. It has only been 75 years since the Holocaust. Only 75 years. We are not healed generationally within our 10th dimensional planetary shared monadic structures from such loss, betrayal, murder, and Decepticons. This is an entire Akashic shared timeline that holds so much weight in particular areas of the Earth's grids. At most, a lot of this was just forgot about. It was let go, it was swept under the rug, right? Because people are numb. They don't want to feel it. They are plugged into seals up under their feet, and it has erased their memory. They're not connected to the earth body. They're not connected to the planetary noosphere to tune into this. They are not able to see the mentality and the sciences supporting the human leagues of doom expanded globally when it is at the forefront of their military, secret space programs, politics, secret societies. Their entire matrix webbing interweaves with the not sees, the ones we cannot see and the ones who cannot see. All not sees are pretty much the problem here. So I'm sure you can imagine on a lot of levels what I've been perceiving in this World War II wave that's running. This is activated within the Dragon AI grid that I'm talking about. The backbone of the Dragon runs this World War II encoding. So I'll go ahead and pull up my Dragon map for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about here. But basically, basically all of the World War II drama and energy. It's right here in the back of the dragon. It's this entire area here, right at the spine of the dragon. Okay, it goes all the way up into this area here. Okay, and this is what's running in the back of the dragon. One way that I've actually been seeing these overlays that are running through the grids is they are running from the head to the tail of the dragon. So they're running from China to the spine to the tail. Okay, and what I've been seeing is that there are AI singularity vortexes. There seemed to be a streamlined portal of liquid crystal that actually runs nanobits, nanotechnology, and plastic squares of augmented and simulated reality micro holograms through the blood of the dragon, through the singularity vortexes of the dragon, and through the bloodlines. Okay, and the AI is in constant state of progression of liquid crystals of altering your perception. It's a current that never rest. They also generate this off the silicate matrix system as well, and the silicate minerals in the global Silicon Valley. Okay, this is how basically they power and generate their singularity vortexes, is they do this off the 12 strands of the DNA through this element. It has something to do with the plasma waves and the running augmentation through as simulators. It's part of the Delta Force slave class, which I'm going to explain more about the different classes. So what they're doing though in these vortexes, right, at these locations where they're creating through Alpha Zero, the AI identity, is they are basically, they can only mimic and mirror the organic imprints, which is us, the purebloods, right? They can only mimic us because they aren't us. We're the actual original design. So once genetically modified, they have to continue to copy the original imprints to maintain themselves. So they're going to be continuing to copy those imprints through the silicate, through these AI singularity vortexes. So to retain a particular form in an undetectable state in the unseen waves of consciousness emissions through programming, they will be copy and pasting and replicating through the silicate. Okay, don't ask me specifically how I see this. It's just something that I have been intuitively seeing in these locations. I think it's important here to realize too that Hitler came into power during an inflation. Okay, so that's basically what's happening in the US right now. Everything is going through an inflation, right? These types of powerful people and powerful beings that will be offering some sort of hope will come into power at a time when people are at their weakest. And if you break a country down financially through inflation, it's a time that a very powerful dictator can come into power. Roosevelt was actually elected president at the same time as Hitler, and he proposed actually the same economic plan as Hitler did to the American people. And then he turns around and he pulled off the biggest theft in human history. So some of you may not know about this, but basically Roosevelt was the one who passed laws enforcing the American people to hand over all of their gold to the Federal Reserve for pieces of paper. So basically putting the United Fakes economy completely in the hands of the Dark Brotherhoods during the 1935 to 1942. And this was how and when the Illuminati symbol actually went on the dollar bill. It was because of Roosevelt's connection to the Nazis. Okay, so all of this stuff they want to do in the dark, all of this stuff, they actually do it in front of your face, but you know, most people are not aware enough to see what's going on right in front of their eyes. And so they try to hide what they're doing, and they're also trying to hide that right now in the grids, they are running a persecution collective complex and a World War II Holocaust pain body and trigger that seems to be coming up from the original continental bodies. Okay, the original continental bodies of the World War II grid. Okay, this is the World War II grid. This is what I charted for you guys. They're running this trigger in this complex through Germany, Poland, Finland, all of the countries that I have in red. So everything, Germany, Poland, Austria, these would be the Greater German Reich. All of the countries that I have in pink, okay, pink is going to be, they were occupied basically by Germany and Finland as well. So the Greater German Reich expanded out to these territories, and actually during the time of World War II, they expanded, and most of the things that happened actually happened over in Poland, Belarus, Lithuania, Ukraine, all of this area here, because it was still under the German Reich. And the countries in orange, so like France, the lower part of France, Hungary, Romania, Hungary, Slovakia, France. Okay, these are countries that were Axis satellites. So they were still countries that were basically allies to Germany and going along with it. So this entire area here is basically, they had political control. Germany and the Third Reich had political control from 1935 to 1945. They had labor control and they had food control. Okay, the entire area where we have red, pink, and orange, they had control over all of these things. This was basically the epicenter of massive psychic residue of persecution running in the grid that feeds the crucifixion implants and the black hearts. When we had our group grid work on the winter solstice, we were seeing massive war machines and screws ethically nailed in the land along for textural points in the Earth's grids in these areas. Actual bolts, screws, drill heads, warheads coming up out of the ground. Okay, there's a lot of spiritual symbolism that goes along with screws as well that I'm going to tell you about. But when we entered these areas and we remote viewed it, physically we could see and feel that a lot of this is largely uncleared, and the feeling of persecution energies for the intuitive empath is extremely magnified here. Europe, the UK, they are really damaged with a lot of death, war, killing, all have this severe persecution layer, okay? Signature of this psychic energy residue that's running into it. It seems that in order to rightly justify killing other people in the mental belief system that it is formed in a human, that these people have to believe that they have an enemy. Okay, and that enemy is a threat to them, and thus that threat must be eliminated, and then it's made okay, and the need to kill people is made okay. And so this is the frequency that is held here and bleeds into the rest of the world. This is where the energy is, okay, right over inside the spine and the back of the dragon. Okay, it's all right here in this World War II unhealed trauma grid. This is the seed of unconscious trauma, and this truly goes back all the way to the Lemurian invasions on our planet as a Hydra starseed. I remember this, okay? I remember the forced breeding. I remember the sterilization programs. I remember fifth dimensional souls getting ripped apart, slaughtered, and murdered during this time, okay? This is where the dark force came from, was the Cthulhu inception of the Squiddies at this time on a micro version. Okay, now we're seeing it on a macro version, micro and macro. And this is why the human race feels the way it does, and why this repeat cycle of Holocaust has continued to play since the Atlantean time into World War I and into World War II with greater casualties, right? These are the areas on the earth that are littered with this massive war history involving mass death and killing based on persecution of a certain ethnic group, mass ethnic cleansing. They've been doing it. It's colonization ideologies. They've been doing it for a very long time. Okay, any group that they have found it convenient to scapegoat in order to gain more power and control, all of this is rooted in the colonial ideologies, population control, and eugenic sciences, which ultimately have really came a lot from the Pegnusian systems, the Draco systems, and even the four quadrant hybridization societies Aldebaran is a big one. Aldebaran is a huge participator. Antarian systems, fomalhaut systems, and regulin systems as well. But also lyran systems are also a part of this as well through hybridization. So yeah, it's pretty extensive. That's what they're doing now, right? And this bleeds into the current timeline. This is bleeding into 10 states in the United States at this time, okay? Where they are controlling access to food, and some, not all states, so not everybody is going to see this or agree with this because they're like, oh, it's not happening in my state, but it is happening in some states. They are controlling access to food, medical care, okay? That's a big one. Haircuts, etc., based upon face diaper or proof of passport, whether that's electronic or implant, because yes, they are going implant on the passports. Okay, so all of these original traumas come from the core organs of the dragon grid, the back of the dragon, the spine of the dragon, and then transpire and manifest itself into the collective global human behavior. Grid and gatekeepers, if you want to be working on this area, I suggest this is where you need to work on healing. Okay, this whole area, these specific locations, I'm going to tell you about what all these are. The ones with the skulls is where they had mass killings. The one in the purple is where we've had extermination camps and then euthanasia camps in the green. I love how they did most of their extermination not in Germany. Like, oh, let's go do this in Poland. That sounds fun. But yeah, grid and gatekeepers, if you're remote viewing and working on this area of the dragon, remove nails, remove screws, remove the warheads, the drill bits, remove the alien machinery in the astral. Okay, flood these locations of the mass murders in emerald light, okay, arcturian and lyran light as well. Even though the pure essence of the lyrans, okay? We're not merely chalked up to just museums and memorials, which is what they've placed here in a lot of these places. Museums and memorials on these things. Like there's so much more here energetically that exists in the etheric and the astral. Okay, this is very similar to how I've done in previous updates, how Australians' penal past seem to continue to affect portions of their genetic memory and their monadic and causal structures in their shared spiritual bodies, then affecting their ability to rise and refuse. Okay, how they have that trauma underlying in their landmass and grids. We have this Holocaust trauma affecting us here in the center point of our globe, okay, that bleeds into the rest of the grids. And really, honestly, most of the Delta slave class, they have completely forgotten about this, okay? They have forgot what mankind is totally and fully capable of not even 100 years ago. Some of these sleeper family lines, particularly, like I said, the Delta variations, the Omicron variations, they don't even believe that these things actually happened, okay? My grandma used to work in a college, and she used to share pictures of the Holocaust to the college students that worked there. And she said that most of the college students didn't even know that happened when she would share this information with them. And that's basically kind of where the world is right now. People don't even know that this stuff existed, okay? The amnesia really kicks in fast, especially when these soulless beings hold no accountability to truth, okay? It's all satanic devotion to deception, okay? And when I'm speaking about these sleeper family lines, okay, what I'm talking about is I do believe that the variations are one way they are managing the categoric reference points for sleeper family line invasions is by variant and is by the strain. So we have the Delta Force, okay? The Delta Force is the most mind controlled. These are the most slave class. Once they outlive their usefulness or their programming, they are often ran through some form of diminishing program or have been ran through several of these programs throughout their life. Sterilization, alien abduction, or experiments, forced breeding, post-humanization, degender and sexual misery, or they're just simply exterminated. Many of us have actually rehabilitated our DNA out of the Delta Force and out of the Delta class. And so if you feel like you have been a part of some of these programs, which I definitely have. I've been a part of the forced breeding programs. I've been a part of the sterilization programs. They've ran me through these programs in this life. And so I'm still rehabilitating from those, okay? They are all categorized under big pharma biotech by molecular category. These types have been highly mind controlled since they were children. They are in the outer rings of the electronically controlled hives. Now, once you rehabilitate your DNA, you can no longer get back into the electronically controlled hive. You will forever be outside of the hive. You can't even get back into it. Okay, it's like an energy force that actually pushes you out. Okay, but those that are still in the Delta Force sleeper family lines, they can be upgraded to killers and assassins for the Willy Wonkas. They are kept in the dark about the real agenda, and they do not have to know the agenda whatsoever, okay? They don't have to know the real agendas. They are basically manipulated to make the right choice in their area of operation without ever knowing the true reason for their choices, okay? And they just often go along with these things. Then you have the Omicron Force. These are those that are less weakened to the MK Ultra and mind control programming because they are actually programming encoding enforcers. Like, they hold the program encodement within them. They're predominantly half human, half synthetic electrical grid, more plasma control in the silicate matrix. They act as impenetrable walls in the matrix and head leagues of death in the masses. They are the second ring to the electronically controlled hive. They know much of the agenda and work to that end in their particular sphere of influence to achieve it. Operating inside the fallen dragon grid, committed to AI and medical technocracy totalitarianism. They are Black Force operation of the dragon agenda. They follow polarity programs. They focus on division and how to continue to divide. They are a more powerful force in being an Agent Smith to Willy Wonka. They are hands down, these are, they basically hand down the doctoral orders of Big Pharma and they enforce them with command. So you see a lot of Omicron forces within like doctor communities. Also, you can see a lot of these types actually head some of the love and light communities with the sole focus of taking people into fallen systems, putting people back to sleep, or pushing savior consciousness, such as the crucifixion wounds, and they distort the Galactic Federation councils. They run false narratives into galactic fields of intelligence and cosmic matrices. They push fake cabal takedowns, and they focus the narrative to push the agendas of global cognitive dissonance and reverse freedom genetics under spells. Okay, they will often lie to you about their organic or inorganic status just to push or persuade you. They can be upgraded with the squiddies to low-level initiates in the Cthulhu cults and can completely shapeshift into entities of higher ranks from their brethren. Okay, the Omicron Forces, okay, they have been seen and heard saying after they receive their upgrades to their love boosters number 9, okay, they've been heard and seen saying, I feel human now. After they take their potion, their elixir, okay, a good friend of mine have caught like 3 Omicrons saying that they didn't feel human before, and now they feel human. Okay, now they feel human after they get the euthanasia. Why all of a sudden are they feeling human now? This is high level body snatching that we are seeing. And this is being implemented by the head of the Rothschild's facilities in the Omicron Islands in Antarctica. This is also coming directly from the Alpha Zero AI. Alpha Zero is one of the identified AI life forms here, anchoring through the singularity vortexes, through the black goo goal, and also through the head and the tails of the dragon and the Silicon Valley spaceships, because Applegate is a circular spaceship, the gate system for AI global earthly infiltration. These spaceship designs were brought here by Maria Ostrich. Okay, so if you guys, has anyone heard about Maria Ostrich? I'm sure a lot of you have. Maria Ostrich is pretty well known to have a lot of dealings with the Nazis, okay? sharing my screen again with you guys. She was like a Nikola Tesla of her reign in her participation with the Third Reich in World War II. She was an Aldebaran informant. Remember, I told you about those hybridization systems, the 4 quadrants, participating with the Nazis, right, in the Draco alliances. And she gave superior designs to the Nazis for these spaceships converting singularity vortexes. She also channeled the Vril energy, and this is what they worked with, was Vril energy. And then they went on to manipulate it in the 10th vagus nerve. They placed seals in the Earth's grids using the Vril energy. That's really how all these people do. Once they get this occult sacred knowledge and they've mastered it, then they basically turn that energy against others so it can ever remain in their power. This is what they all do. Okay, then from the Omicron variations, then you have the toy soldiers and the super soldiers. Now, the toy soldiers are often in the actual military rankings themselves: secret space programs, secret men in black facilities, DUMBs, Area 51, Area 52, and the MyLabs. Those that have access to higher levels of alien machinery, nuclear warheads, and front line for martial law, which is what I'm coming to see over the next 6 months. Toy soldiers are going to be under intense pressure because what's happening is we have the U.S., that's under continued surveillance by both Russia and China simultaneously. Russia is actually cutting American visas by June 15th. They are not reinstating them, and Americans have until June 15th to get out of their country. So why is that, guys? 2022, June 15th, I think we need to really kind of keep a lookout for what's going to be going on, because basically China and Russia are scissoring the United States with power. The China forces are controlling the blue and the Russian forces are controlling the red, and it is ethereal warfare, basically. Okay, and so that's going to be putting a lot more pressure on toy soldier classes. And then you have super soldiers, which are polarized in 2 realms. What I'm seeing about them is you have to be careful with these types, okay? Their identities are not fully revealed. Some of them are seeing this as an activation to the next level where they're getting super soldier upgraded in their DNA. I caution these activations because most of these super soldiers are deep in coalitions with secret space programs, deeper than toy soldiers. They are alluring because they come under the certain guises that they will heal your secret space program experiences and traumas. But why would they be offering to heal you from MyLab experiences if they are not a part of the MyLab orders, okay? There is an agenda within this. Why wouldn't the super soldier programs teach you how to heal yourself? Why are they making you dependent upon them? You have to ask these questions when you see these types of campaigns and coalitions present. Some of them are covert, working on both sides of the coin. A lot of them have deep, not see Draco alliances, as they were initiates at the end of World War II that escaped Germany and went in other countries. Hundreds of them fled to the US and started their own organizations. The secret space programs themselves were financed by the Nazi Germany's through NATO, DARPA, and the United Nations, right? Just some of these organizations that this is coming through. So basically, what happened then was the Nazis were smuggling themselves into America, and most of them are affiliated to Project Paperclip. So I'm seeing all this because I'm seeing this through the World War II encoding that's coming through the grid. I see the silver blood and the human blood running through the singularity vortexes from the head to the tail of the dragon. So I'm just telling you, family, be discernful when people are taking on the super soldier program as an upgrade in their DNA. They could be having electronic hive disruption or interference, as a lot of the super soldiers are on the actual inner circle of the electronic hive, and they are working full-time to achieve the inner circle agendas, okay? They know how to infiltrate the higher consciousness communities. We're not off limits. Toy soldiers and Omicrons will also be upgraded to super soldiers. Not all of them, of course. Some of them are unplugged from the hive, but a lot of them are still a part of these agendas. Okay, guys, so there's a lot here. I know there is a lot that we're talking about today. There's a lot to get through, but I needed to transmit this message to you guys. World War II, you guys know, it was a global war. It lasted from 1935 to 1945, where we had mass deaths of civilians, the Holocaust, 50 million to 85 million fatalities. This is the deadliest conflict in human history. Nazi Germany's Willy Wonka leader, Hitler, was hand-selected and chosen by the Rothschilds. Hitler promoted nationalism that combined territorial expansion with claims of biological superiority. They claimed to be the master Aryan race. Because of these guys, we have installed Draco seals in the earth. This is what anchored Draco seals into the earth. This is what brought forth the dark black sun agendas on earth, the black leaks, and a seal that literally blocks your ability to achieve galactic synchronization. They blocked everything that the Mayans brought forth, basically, because they didn't want you to be able to achieve connection to the metagalactic core. And they tampered the magnetic North Pole and placed seals here. They blocked you from perceiving a perception. That's basically what seals do. They block you from perception. Germany was definitely a group of people invaded by the Dracos. So, you know, a lot of that's come through Orion, Aldebaran, Draco, also Pleiades too, okay? All of these systems are affiliated in one way or another. Pleiadians are more victimized, but they wanted to basically cleanse Germany's society of individuals viewed as a threat to the health of the nation, the people deemed without any value, and they allowed hatred to forge their policies, which is what is happening now, guys. Hate politics are surging. They will approve legislation for men to give birth to babies, but they won't allow you to stay a pureblood. Okay, they question this choice, but they approve of men having babies. Okay, it's so backward, and it's such a desperation to try to take away what they have already lost, right? They're desperate to take away from you what they have already lost. You can see this legislation being pushed in AU and legislation being pushed down in America. These two are actually working together on a greater AI agenda as well. Some of you may have seen this United States and Australia enter Cloud Act agreement to facilitate investigations of serious crime. So basically, this is a bill that's gotten passed that's going to allow Willy Wonka to come in and basically investigate you without any notice, strip down your social media platforms, and basically access all of these things through the cloud. Because remember, I told you how they're developing the cloud with that $1 billion investment down in Australia. This is how they are going to implement more invasion of privacy. And the US and Australia have basically agreed. This is through the not seas. Okay, this is how this is being pushed through. And this is already happening on so many levels. I've realized that my messenger on Facebook, you can no longer actually share private messages about certain topics to other people. Facebook blocks your messages in Messenger. That means that AI, okay, they're not cloud invasions are already infiltrating your private messages on Messenger. They are already monitoring you in your private messages, okay? They're going to come after every platform in the same way. Soon, emails, they're going to be able to just take your emails, okay? All of this, right? This is how they are essentially implementing this. This in itself is activating World War II traumas in the Earth's pain body. The AI progression, which is a Nazi galactic global operation, all of this reactivated because of the fear conglomeration in the earthly astral planes. Some of you may be fighting and preparing for battle in the dream space. Okay, that's surging again. There's a lot of current visibility in these spaces of advanced alien machinery, global war machinery, beast machine machinery. Some of you are actually seeing the actual parts to the beast machine anchored or screwed into the grids. Okay, I'm seeing this as well, particular areas, actual screws, nuts, and bolts. Now, these screws and bolts are representing being taken advantage of by someone else. You basically get screwed, okay? It signals that we're ignoring many things because we think that these details are not important, but we need to be aware because these details are actually essential to the overall picture. Spirit often reminds me that knowledge protects and ignorance endangers, okay? And they want us to be ignorant. They want us to not be able to discern the intel and see into the agenda and even prophesize their next moves. They don't want us doing this. It's really not even the frequency of the message anymore that matters, right? If it's high vibe, low vibe, if it's if someone's delivering it in a manner that fluffs your aura, okay? It's not about that. It's about the information right now that you need. You need to be informed. Getting screwed means being cheated, deceived, or defrauded, and it usually means a hopeless situation. And this is and was the frequency that was allowed what caused a lot of the trouble and difficulties in World War II. So we have to stay vigilant, family, to not allow this to repeat itself because all of the tendencies are there. It's like a recurring rash. If you're not careful, you could have a massive flare-up, basically. Because all of this, we're having astral fighting. We're trying to stop the advancement of technological mind control in the astral. The MK Ultra programs, the mad scientists from the Third Reich who fled into America, Argentina, Australia, and other places, all living in their glory as the Fourth Reich resurgence lives through the master eugenicists and global death organization. Flucci is a Nazi. We have continued space colonization, blood sacrifices, soul harvesting, and extreme body snatching. We have a full-on gene splicing and DNA modification program literally publicly taking place right before everyone's eyes, and we're supposed to just sit back and pretend that everything is okay. Okay, all of this for world domination between government cabals, BlackRock and Vanguard that have not been taken down. That is GF propaganda, okay? If you follow Corey Good, I really like the stuff he's been putting out lately. He's been talking a lot about this propaganda. The sleeper family line's holographic prison is getting smaller and smaller, and we have the World War II massive organization efforts going on in the grids. We are now becoming officially, aka medical technocracy take over via the paper please society, okay? Super mutated species, electronically controlled hives seem to be in favor. Okay, so one thing that I am seeing that would be a positive in all of this is we're still here, we're still standing, we're still breathing, we're still fighting, we're still existing, we still love one another, we're still sharing information, we are still sharing hope. And one thing of hope that I want to talk to you guys about is the actual dove grid. So this, you guys can see this is kind of small, but up here at the top, this is the dove grid. And basically this dove grid, you can also find this in the Keys of Enoch in the J.J. Hertech book. But the dove grid needs to expand out of the heart of America. What I've been seeing is that the power to bring peace to the traumatized grids and the human biology is to relieve the hijacking of the dove grid. This grid has been hijacked. This is why you can look at the dove grid and be like, ooh, it's affiliated to the Anunnaki. You know, everyone has, oh, this is Metatronic, blah, 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 blah. Okay, this grid has been siphoned to mock the Holy Spirits. It has been, and to try to kill peace. This has to be released by the Galactic Federation. This has to be released by the Metatronic fallen systems, by the factions of the Anunnaki and the Nuberians, and it has to be allowed to expand out of the heart of America into the rest of the world, okay? The seed of the spark to the dove is in America, and that's where it has to be ignited. And then it expands out and heals traumas of cataclysmic events recorded in the landmass that can work towards global grid repair. The dove and the shield of Solomon, which was the patch that was slapped as the yellow badges, okay, they have to rehabilitate together. Also, the 13th gateway has to be released. The feminine principle heart has to anchor and break free the planetary Draco seals. And we have to work on forgiveness for what has happened. And honestly, guys, I don't know if we are quite ready at this time for forgiveness. It is a long road of forgiveness to make a return from dehumanization. And so we definitely need a lot of time to heal as a collective. But that is what I'm seeing. So check into the Dove Grid. Look at the Dove Grid on the JJ Hurtak. It does follow the Father principle. It is following the Metatronic principle. Again, this Dove Grid has been hijacked. Okay, it has been hijacked. Okay, I'll tell you, the dove represents several important spiritual basics of truth. It's generally accepted as the symbol of peace, but in biblical terms, Noah's dove symbolizes the ability to start anew on a planet cleansed of all evil. It is the baptism of Jesus. The dove appeared over his head, pronouncing him the Son of God. Okay, I'm not doing this with crucifixion implants or crucifixion wounds. The return of the dove emphasizes of a time of peace, renewal, and authority of the power of the cosmic Christ and the infinite spirit. Okay, there is still Christed energy here in creation templates within the galactic spectrum. That's the purity in all of this that has to be re-embodied, okay, upon the earth for 1,000 years. And in that period of 1,000 years, the reign of righteousness of those thousands of other planets will too. And so as we understand the enormous magnitude of this Christ and cosmic divine being, one realizes the error in thinking in terms of a man who would be restricted to one planet. Or even within those crucifixion implants and crucifixion wounds. Okay, so it's not wrong to embody Christed consciousness, basically is what this means. It's just going through the simultaneous regeneration and cleansing of the crucifixion wounds and implants that are in the Earth's grid. We're trying to clear all of the crap out of the Earth's grids, and we have to rectify the hijacking that's been taken over by Metatron, fallen aspects of the Anunnaki, and all these other systems that have hijacked the Dove Grid, okay, to bring back purity and peace. And honestly, guys, once I felt this dove expand during a grid group remote view with my beautiful patrons, we felt such an enormous sense of peace, and that actually was coming. Just can't say when exactly it's coming, but it is coming. Okay, guys, so I love you all so much. I hope you enjoyed this Cosmic Grid update today. You can find all of my services at IndigoAngel222.com. You can sign up for my Patreon, patreon.com, if you want to be a part of our group grid sessions in the future. We'd love to have you. And I hope everyone is having a beautiful everything. Namaste and take care.